All right, let's get right into it. There's been a political earthquake overnight in Japan, and it's sending some serious shockwaves through the global markets. We are talking about a massive leadership change that has traders everywhere from Tokyo to New York completely buzzing. So what is all the fuss about? Well, get this. For the first time in its history, Japan is about to get a female prime minister. And believe me, she's not just any politician. We're talking about a conservative firebrand, a huge supporter of aggressive economic stimulus, who's about to grab the reins of the world's fourth largest economy. The politician at the absolute center of all this is Sanae Takaichi. Now, she's a known admirer of Margaret Thatcher, and she's already picked up a similar nickname, Japan's very own Iron Lady. And, that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the kind of assertive, fiscally bold change she represents. So, who exactly is Sanae Takaichi, and what does it mean to be Japan's new Iron Lady? Let's break it down. Takaichi's victory wasn't just a win, it was a landslide. She's a protege of the late Shinzo Abe, which means her win signals a major return to his economic policies, the ones famously called Abenomics. But here's the twist. Her party, the LDP, is deeply split. You've got all these different factions, from fiscal hawks to doves. So her first massive challenge is going to be uniting a party that's been basically torn apart by infighting. Okay, so let's get to the really juicy part, her economic agenda. It's already been dubbed Takaichinomics, and believe me, it is a huge pivot for Japan.
Right. The big question every single investor is asking right now is, what does this new economic philosophy actually look like? What policies is she bringing to the table?
Her plan is really all about one thing: growth, growth, growth. She's pushing a two-pronged attack. First, massive government spending. That's the fiscal stimulus. And second, keeping interest rates right around zero to get people borrowing and spending. That's monetary easing. And if that's not enough, she's also talking tax cuts for income and for fuel. The whole idea is to put more cash directly into people's pockets.
And this quote really just nails the international view. As one analyst put it, the way people see her is as this kind of hybrid, combining the tough, deregulating ideas of Thatcher with a very modern, full-steam-ahead approach to easy money policies. It's a powerful and, for some, a pretty controversial combination.
So that's the plan. But, policies are one thing. The real story here is how the markets gave their instant, almost visceral reaction to the news. And the market's reaction? Absolutely massive. The second the news broke, Japan's main stock index, the Nikkei, shot up over 5%. I mean, that is a huge vote of confidence from investors who are clearly betting big on her stimulus plans. But here is where it gets really interesting. While stocks were just soaring, the Japanese yen was actually falling. So why the split? Well, all that planned government spending and those super low interest rates, they make the yen a much less attractive currency for global investors to hang on to. But it's really important to put this all in perspective. As one market strategist pointed out, this was a classic knee-jerk jump. It's that initial emotional reaction. Whether this rally can actually last in the long run, that is still a very, very open question.
And yeah, not everybody was popping the champagne. While the market as a whole was flying high, bank stocks actually fell. See, banks were hoping for an interest rate hike to boost their profits, but Takaichi's win makes that way less likely. And you can see their stock prices took an immediate hit because of it.
So let's look beyond that initial market shock. What are the wider consequences of this leadership change, and what are the major hurdles Takaichi is going to have to navigate? The first, and maybe the most immediate ripple effect, is on Japan's central bank. I mean, their entire game plan for the near future might have just been thrown right out the window. Before this election, a rate hike from the Bank of Japan felt like a near certainty. The market was pricing in odds of over 60%. But after Takaichi's victory, those odds have absolutely cratered. Her pro-stimulus policies mean the central bank is now under huge pressure to hold off on any rate hikes, maybe even for the rest of the year. So how does she justify holding off? Well, Takaichi argues that Japan's current inflation isn't happening because the economy is overheating with too much demand. No, she says it's cost-push inflation. It's being driven by higher global costs for things like energy and materials. So from her point of view, raising interest rates would just choke the economy without actually fixing the root problem.
Now, beyond the domestic economy, there is an even bigger challenge waiting for her on the world stage, and it has everything to do with her relationship with the United States.
And this is where Takaichi has to walk a real diplomatic tightrope. She's hinted she wants to renegotiate a major trade deal with the US, which is always tricky. At the exact same time, there's a ton of pressure on her to increase defense spending. Her biggest advantage here might just be her connection to Shinzo Abe's legacy. He had a really strong established relationship with the Trump administration.
Okay, let's bring this all together in our final section and look at how this all builds to a pivotal moment, not just for Japan, but for the entire global economic landscape. So what are the 3 big things you need to remember from all this? First, Japan is going all in on government spending in a huge economic pivot. Second, the Bank of Japan is probably going to keep interest rates low, and that's going to have ripple effects on markets all over the world. And third, the relationship between the US and Japan is about to enter a brand new and pretty uncertain chapter. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, right? Is this bold economic experiment the shot of adrenaline that Japan's economy has been waiting for? Or will the harsh realities of global trade disputes and diplomatic pressures force Japan's new Iron Lady to bend? For now, the entire world is watching very, very closely.